Today I'm going to show you how to build chords in electronic music, and not just any basic chords. I'm going to show you how to build chords and then build on top of them so that you give yourself enough material to go ahead then and create a full-length arrangement. I'm doing this because a lot of people get stuck on this particular step when they're building songs. A very common thing that people do is they build chords, they accept that they are good, and then they're like, well, where do I go next? Well, what I'm going to show you today is where you're going to go next after you build your chords and what you could do with them so that you have, like I said, enough stuff to go ahead and build a full-length arrangement. And as always, I personally guarantee that if you watch this entire video from beginning all the way through to the end and don't skip off for any reason whatsoever, that your chord building will become at least 20% better. Let's get into the video. So when you build chords, I highly recommend you don't start with nothing. Always give yourself something to harmonize with. Make it fun, especially if you're an amateur chord builder, you don't know a lot about music theory. Give yourself something to build off of. What I have here is a little dronal sound that I made with just a Nexus 2 guitar. It sounds like this. So you could use that, or I add a lot of reverb just to make it drony and add some feels. So it sounds like that, just a nice tone. And then I took another Nexus 2 guitar, and mind you, you can use other sounds. You don't just need a Nexus 2 guitar. If you have Serum, or if you just use Alchemy in Logic, or if you're an FL Studio user and you use the basic synths in there, you could use whatever you want to make these dronal sounds. And then I just made this with the guitar. You could hear it's not really melody, it's just kind of like a couple notes giving yourself a nice basis to add things on. There's not a lot of notes here. So when you have those dronal type of notes, the ones that just repeat over and over, it gives you a lot of space to harmonize chords with. So when I'm harmonizing chords, I would start with the bottom note of the chords, or the bass line. So let's go ahead and give ourselves 4 notes, basic 4-note progression that harmonizes well with this guitar. It sounds good, and that's all we're worried about. We just want it to sound good. Now that we have our bass notes for our chord progression, we could go ahead and build some simple chords right above this because we already have the bass note. So what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a D chord, a B minor, F sharp minor, and an E chord. So I just copied the notes here, and I'm going to put these an octave up from those. And when you have your bass line, the cool things about chords is it's just math from now on, because we already have the hard part done, which is the part you actually have to use your ears to do. 7 semitones up from our bass line. Now we're going to start forming our triad. And now we just decide if it's a major or minor chord. So we're going to have a major. This is a D major. This is a B minor, and this should be an F sharp minor. And then we should have an E major. So that's it. The chords are done, but they're a little cheesy and they're a little basic. And if somebody was playing these chords by hand, I doubt that they would start here, move their hand all the way down, and then back up to this chord. So like the way I picture chords when I'm writing them in Midi is what would somebody do if they were actually playing these chords. The voicing wouldn't look exactly like this. It'd be a lot less cheesy. So I'm going to take this note and put it 1 octave down. And then this note, instead of being all the way down here, I'm actually going to put up there. And then I still have a chord way out here. When we have all these nice chords back to back, I try to just squeeze them together as best as I could. Put that an octave down, and then this an octave down as well. So I could keep this like this, or build that chord like that. And then I'm also going to put this note an octave down, just so it's a nice step down bass line. I'm going to take this and put it up an octave. Beautiful. We have a piano, but a piano can only last so long before it gets boring and more stuff has to happen to these chords. So we got to take these chord notes and send them through a story. You're always telling a story with your electronic music songs. So I have the chord progression. Now let's go ahead and fancy them up. Give us another instrument with the same chords that we can use later on in like the bridge or the drop or something. So I have a simple little patch that I made in Serum with just a saw wave, and it sounds like this. And this will couple great with the piano if I want to layer them later in the song. So what I also like to do when I'm making chords is I like to give myself a rhythmic version of the chords and take this sound here that I also made in Serum and do some nice little dotted eighth notes. And then with the other chord sounds like this. Whenever I have a piano, I like to start with the piano because they're such a dominant instrument that the backbone of my song could be a piano track. And then I can wrap that piano in these different instruments as I progress more into the song. There you go, guys. If you want to learn more about chord writing, melody writing, mixing, mastering, and song arrangement, and of course sound design, come join me in my EDM boot camp. People are saying amazing things about it. And I'll see you in the next video.